back doing another knife sharpening. This is my personal Tanto. It's a cold steel, I believe it's the Magnum line. I've sharpened this to 20 degrees the other day, and I clamped the knife roughly where it is now, but when I went to sharpen the Tanto tip, I stupidly didn't move it in the clamp. I didn't move it further out to the tip. So what I'm basically doing is I've finished grinding this now, because it ground such a wide bevel out here because it's so far away from the clamp, and the 20-degree angle obviously isn't right. It's turns out to be a much flatter angle out here. I've ground this. I finished grinding this off so that it's actually, I formed a burr. I'm going to have to go back and rework this a bit, because I can tell I've touched here where I shouldn't have. But essentially that's what I'm up to at the moment, is just grinding this back. It would be better if I actually did all of this actually. I should do that, to be honest. That'll make this, should end up with a more even finish along here, seeing as I'll be doing the whole thing in one go. Interested to see what the video quality turns out like on this too. Okay, that's enough. 200 grit. I'll move up to 400 grit. Make sure these are tight. So I'm just going to give this a quick wipe off, just so I don't contaminate the stones with higher grit diamond particles. Okay, same thing, wipe off, and we'll progress to the 600. Very humid and hot here at the moment again. And what are we, second day into autumn? Done with the 600s. Let's progress to 8 and then 1,000. Just had a thunderstorm here actually, not long ago. which is also why it's so humid. It's humid in the lead up to it all day as well. I think we're actually forecast for more storms tomorrow. Now, I'm not sort of counting these. I sort of did roughly 20 with the coarser stones. I'm just doing this until it feels good. Did roughly 30 on the tip then. Turn this over to the thousands, give it another wipe off. That was 30. That was 30 again with the thousands. It's forming a little slight burr on the top of what would be the spine here. I'll knock that off with, I might do that with 1,000 while I'm here. I'll just give that a start with those. That was 1,800 just to knock that burr off. It's on the spine. That's because I never moved it in the clamp and it ground such a wide bevel. It was grinding it right back to the spine. It's crazy. Very silly of me. I'm sweating like crazy. Literally dripping sweat onto the bench as I'm doing these honing strokes. I think that was enough. I actually have some scratches, a scratch pattern back here that must be from 100 grit stone, and I'd have to go all the way, that's down on the blade about this level here, I'd have to go all the way back to the 100 grit again and do quite a few more strokes with that to get them out. I use the 200 grit along the length of the blade, but obviously they're too deep for the 200 grit to get out. I'd have to go back and set them again with the 100 grit side of those stones, but I don't care about that. I was more worried about getting the grind finished on the Tanto point all the way to the end, because I started it the other day, but because it's grinding such a wide bevel, it was taking insanely long, and it took me another 15 minutes with 100 grit stone tonight to finish this off. I've had this knife for 15 years or something like that. I don't know, at least 10 more, I'd say. Probably closer to 15, yeah. Never sharpened it. This is the first time I'd sharpened it. First time I'd sharpened anything this long, really. on the wicked edge, and I've learnt my lesson. If I'm doing a Tanto ever again, I'll definitely be moving it up and clamping like at the point. I'll sharpen the two parts completely separately and be buggered if I get sort of a slight scratch pattern on either the blade or the Tanto point itself when I'm sharpening them separately. I could always tape them. Actually, that'd be a good idea. Okay, now I'm going to do this. I'm going to reset this scratch pattern. The reason I'm doing this, funnily enough, I could have started doing this with this stone to begin with, purely to get try and align the scratch pattern with the same direction that I'm going to be running the strop in. Again, I'm still going to have this section on this side of the blade where I've got these deep 100 grit scratches by the look of them, because the 200 grit stone didn't get it out. Okay, that's those stones done. Now I'll wipe this off, and from here we're going to progress to the strops. 5 micron and then 3.5 micron. Not that this isn't sharp already. Especially if you're doing the edge leading strokes with this, that's very bitey. Just touching it. Seem to have that burr there. I might just give it the 1500, a few strokes with the 1500 just to get that polish up roughly to a decent level, seeing as I've already hit it with the 800 and 1000 like this. Okay, now just give this another quick wipe off. And we're going to go to the strops. Went to see the new June movie tonight, June Part 2, whatever it is. It's been a long time since I read the books. I was actually thinking about that on the drive home. I think it's been, because I read them in high school. So what was that, at least 22 years ago when I read them, probably even more. I might do the Tanto point first with this. Definitely need to wet these with some alcohol, because it's literally just powdering off there. Okay. hear it picking up rain and wind outside again. Okay, give this another wipe off, then we will progress to the 3 micron. This main body here of the knife going back to form the tang, gets in the way of laying the stones and the strops back, because you're catching this plastic body of the stones and then with the strops as well. So you're just going to take your time, lay it on there, line it up. Of course with these you've got to be very careful, because if you're having to slide into the blades, you can cut into the wood, because these are the balsa strops. I'll leave that sitting there for the time being, and I'll put this one back in its little plastic bag. Now I can have this one. Okay, let us get this out of here and have a look at it. If the phone's still recording, because this is going to be a massive video file. Better. I would hate. This is the Cold Steel Magnum Tanto 9 VG1 San May, however you want to say it. There are still ridiculously deep scratches in that from when I was grinding it. Not tonight, but the other time, and I was putting a lot of pressure on the blade with the stones, and it just makes stupidly deep scratches with that 100 grit. Although having said that, I could have used the 50 and 80, I think it's a 50 and 80 combo stone to do that re-profile. But again, if I hadn't made the mistake and I'd moved the knife in the clamp, wouldn't have had that problem anyway. Such a thick tip, really robust. Anyway, that's this cold steel done. Took me long enough, had to stop and do it over 2 sessions. It's definitely one of my favourite knives in my, what you'd call a collection, very small collection. Feels good in the hand. It could be, I've got sort of, I don't know, my fingers are short, but I could probably use a slightly thicker handle. Like I can still grab that good, but it's like my fingers are over closing to grab it hard if you're actually having to swing it. Anyway, that's that done. I will see you in the next one.